about 7 deadly habits which affect your brain. My name is Dr. Kundlas and I'm a primary care physician in Central Florida. Without brain and its proper capabilities to process information, to understand our internal environment and external environment, we will not be human beings. What makes us so special is our ability to understand this information and process a response. What we know now is that as we are changing our lifestyle, we are finding out a lot more habits which are working against us and they are not in line with what our brain requires. Number one habit is lack of exercise. As you know, we lose brain cells every day, and it's known that about 10,000 neurons we lose every day. And we should work towards improving our neurons. And one of the stimulus which is shown to improve your neuron numbers by stimulating brain stem cells is exercise. So exercise is very, very important. Both aerobic and strength training are responsible for this phenomenon, and you must do everything to do exercise so that you could preserve your number of neurons and your cognitive and in turn your computing power of the brain. If you don't exercise and you predominantly lazy or have a sedentary lifestyle, you tend to lose your brain function. Number two is smoking. Smoking directly decreases the number of cells. It actively kills number of cells, and whatever is left that cannot process the information effectively and efficiently, and you start losing number of cells and processing power of your brain. Number three is alcohol. Alcohol is a two-edged weapon. Overall, people who can restrict drinking equivalent to 1 can of beer or 1 glass of wine or 30 ml of any hard liquor, they have some mortality benefit and preserving other bodily function. But anything above one of these three choices is a directly toxic to your body and directly toxic to your brain. Diet. Brain likes diet which is high in omega-3 fatty acids, substantial amount of water, and minerals and electrolytes and vitamins. Your brain is 80% water, and the myelin sheath or the white marrow of your brain is predominantly omega-3 fatty acids. Fish, flaxseed, they are a very high rich source of omega-3 fatty acids. Diet which is lacking in omega-3 fatty acids, you will have some problem. Then to replenish your neurotransmitters, you need diet which is high in amino acid precursors, which are used by your brain to manufacture these neurotransmitters. Those include beef, chicken, fish, cheese, primarily and quality animal proteins and some plant proteins. Nuts, especially almonds, they have trace minerals and vitamins which are very effective in preserving your brain function. Water is critical. You must drink adequate amount of water controlled by thirst. As you know, brain is 80% water, 13% fat, 1 to 2% protein, and very little rest of the vitamins, minerals, and electrolytes. Brain predominantly uses glucose as a fuel, and it prefers continuous supply of glucose. It does not like spurts that, if you eat any processed food which is very high in simple sugars, that it goes up and then you have difficulty in kind of controlling how much glucose is going to your blood. So it prefers complex carbohydrates. So stick to complex carbohydrates, avoid all processed food. Next is social isolation. We are very stimulated with social media, our iPhones, or any other devices. But for brain evolutionary, we need people. We need to connect us with ourselves and also with everybody around us. Social isolation is very, very detrimental to our brain. Brain makes more connections, memories, experiences when we are in a company of other people, whether it's our own family members or our friends. But it requires social stimulation. If you are isolated, it will not work. Next is meditation. Meditation is not a cult. Meditation is not a religion. Meditation is like a defragmenting your hard drive. Mind is your hard drive. In this mind, you have automatic softwares, which are your habits, your past experiences, and past knowledge. That's what the content of your mind is. And your experiences and knowledge come from five things: other people, places, things, events. So your social environment, whatever is happening, that's you draw knowledge about that, and you draw experience from there, and you make what we call it as your mind. Normally, we are on autopilot. Brain is a very lazy organ, or in other words, it's a very smart organ. You do anything repeatedly, whether it's good or bad, it will automate it in the response to this repeated stimulation. Either it will create a habit out of it, or it will create rule of thumbs like heuristics, like certain response patterns. And we are driven by these heuristics and habits, which makes us unconscious. If, say, for example, if we see something, we react to it, but our response is automatic, and we are not being driven by our conscious thought process. Meditation is being aware or conscious of what is happening inside you and outside you. Like, meditation is like gardening. When you garden, there are weeds, which are your habits. They keep on coming over and over. Have you tried to change any habit? Moment you even think it and you have not even worked on it, you start your mind start failing you, start telling you why you will not be able to successful and why should continue to do that. That is, in term of analogy, if where you're going to grow the thing, that's your plot, is your mind, weed is your repeated habits. Then you will find that once you start gardening, if you have grown something in the past, you will find roots of that. And even if you did not put any seed for that one, it will grow. Like, I have a garden in the office, and I was trying to develop a garden, and I've repeatedly, the weeds we understand clearly, which is our repeated habits. But we find it, this one, that the tomatoes will show up here. Sometime mint plant will show up. Those are our old habits, experience, which continue to affect what we are trying to do. That in meditation, we are becoming aware of our habits and our automatic responses, meaning our weeds and the previous experiences or the previous seeds, and we consciously clear them up. And that's why our mind becomes, when it's free of all these weeds and their past seeds, the mind becomes calm, pure, and comfortable. So the meditation is not a cult, it is a medically tested, proven way to properly defragment your brain hard drive so that it works properly. Next is treating your medical conditions. If you have medical condition, it needs to be treated and it needs to be treated to target. What it means is, say, for example, if you have a high blood pressure, based on your age and your risk profile, these things needs to be controlled to a certain level. You cannot take blood pressure medication and your blood pressure is still running higher for your expected age. Or if you're a diabetic, you're taking diabetic medications, but your hemoglobin A1C is very high. Same as cholesterol, that you're taking medication, but it's not controlling where it needs to be. So if you have medical problem, you need to get it treated to target. And then also, whenever you have a disease burden based on your chronic diseases, you must get uh, appropriate screening, appropriate organ testing so that you could be treated properly. All chronic diseases, if we take inventory of all medical things which kill us, those are, there are three things which kill in especially developed world, and it's becoming the same problem for the developing world is chronic diseases and cancers. All chronic diseases are lifestyle. When we are young, we acquire certain habits which predispose us to develop risk factors. Risk factor lead to chronic diseases. Chronic diseases lead to chronic complication by affecting different organs, and then it leads to pain and suffering. Say, for example, when you're young, if you don't exercise, you don't eat right, you start smoking, start drinking, you initially, invariably happen is initially you start gaining weight, then you become high blood pressure goes up, then your cholesterol goes up, then you become diabetic, then you have to take the medication, you require a lot of money for that, and then you start having complications, you have eye problem, kidney problem, so this circle keeps on going. If you have chronic medical problem, you must treat them to target. Then is last thing, which a message which I want to give is, me put this whole plan together. As a human being, we basically, the fundamental question which we all have is, if we try to understand or if we ever explore, who am I? Each human being has five domains of life. We all know ourselves with our body. Our body requires balanced nutrition, exercise, sleep, and relaxation. Balanced food is very clear. Our food should predominantly be fruits and vegetables, quality meat, quality fats, and whole grains, legume, and that should provide your body with all the material it requires, or raw material it requires to function properly. Second, sleep 7 to 9 hours every day. Sleep is not passive. Lot of diseases, including anxiety, depression, heart attack, cancers, a lot of them, they are being linked to now sleep. Exercise. We all must exercise 30 minutes 5 times a week, preferably 7 days a week. And if you do exercise, develop habit to doing it early in the morning so that you have 300% more chances of developing this habit permanently and continue to do that. Because otherwise, at the end of the day, life takes over and we have different reason not to exercise. Relaxation is as important as sleep. Next domain of our life is our emotions. Emotions are our radar system. It's warning us of future problem. The system was designed when we were in living in a jungle and we wanted to be alerted all the time. Now we live in a very safe environment. There is no reason for us to be anxious all the time. But that apparatus creates phantom threats. If something is going to go wrong in 2 years, we start worrying about it today, and we have a brain chemistry which resembles as if the world is going to end or you're going to end right this moment. Anytime there is anxiety, it is in future. And depression is 99% of the regrets of the past, which is about what you should have done or what you didn't do. Both the things, there is no reason anybody to suffer in future when the things have not happened or may not happen, or the things which have already happened. There is no reason to keep on suffering for that. Third domain is cognitive. That's the one which makes us human, where we think, analyze internal and external information, we create appropriate response. The ability to choose to act and not act, I think it only naturally human, and we should cultivate that, and we should continue to improve our faculty. And that's where a lot of our pain and suffering lies. We are unconscious, we don't use this part of our brain. Fourth domain is spiritual. Everybody describes this domain differently, and I do not believe I am qualified to describe the spiritual domain for anybody, but I will share with you how I see this spiritual domain. For me, the spiritual domain is your overarching code of contact or your principles, how you will conduct your life. Fifth domain is social. Social is anything which is outside you. First four domains, your body, your mind, your cognitive, and spiritual, are inside, and everything around you is social, and which is your your social environment is made up of other people, places, things, event, and time. There is not the sixth thing. So when you're looking around it, look into these all five things. And if you make a peace with other people, take care of the places you live, take care of the important events, and don't waste time and use it wisely. And all these five domains are taken care, you will live peacefully. In conclusion, these daily habits, if you change it, you take care of your body, take care of your mind, take care of your thoughts, nurture your spiritual domain or your personal GPS, and take care of your social environment, including other people, places, things, and event and time, you will have very peaceful and productive life. And that's what I wish for everybody. I hope this was helpful. My name is Kulmeet Kunlas, and I will see you in next session. Thank you very much.